Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey and Paul Bennett here on December 11th, Thursday, 2014 at exactly 1600 in the afternoon Eastern Time. Now, Paul's been experiencing a new radio system at the hotel.
Yeah, they gave it to me an hour before I left.
Also, you didn't really have a whole day to
No.
experience it.
No. And I don't know how I'm supposed to. There better be a volume thing on that sucker. Because Lee called me 2 times, and I never even heard the thing ring once. So, I mean, I gotta catch Dane and find out where the volume is. You know, so I can turn it up or get some kind of a ringer or something.
What do these things look like? I assume you have to leave them at
It's
work.
flat.
Yeah, I assume you have to leave it at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like a, well, what you'd call a freaking smartphone.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's
What?
flat.
Who makes it?
I don't know.
Well, it doesn't have a manufacturer's name on the
Doesn't
back
have
of
a
it or
name on
anything?
it, nothing.
Nothing or anything?
All I know it's black and it's got a white back with red and black circles all over it. It's like a red dot, and then there's
Oh, that sounds like a logo of
black
something.
rings.
Oh, I think
on it.
I've seen some of those logos.
I was thinking, looked like odd lot. You know, it's got the red dot in the middle of the big white circle.
Oh, you mean like Target?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't think it's a Target phone.
I don't either. it's hard to explain.
Well, no, carry on. Anything else? I mean,
It's got a camera on it and everything. I can take pictures. I can take a photograph of something and send it to somebody. I don't know who the hell to, but
I suppose you could take pictures of all the, how shall we say, more solidified substances that you might find in various rooms.
or something somebody considers god awful. Somebody shouldn't have had a right to do it. You know, like a lot of trash or whatever.
My headphone cord just fell off the table.
If somebody gets sick in bed, Lee photographs it.
Well, yeah, I actually did have a very unfortunate spell when I was in Chicago one evening. I was overtaken with massive diarrhea, and it really made the room very unpleasant for the individual cleaning the room the next day. And obviously I left him a little bit of a tip on that one.
Yeah.
But it just seized me, you know. You don't suppose my habit.
All these people, sometimes they'll go out and they'll have a bunch of food to eat, and then they also have a bunch of wine. And they get sick and they just don't get up out of the bed.
That wasn't what might have happened with me.
I know.
Well, you know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was going down there outside Morton's Steakhouse and looking for prime rib that had been thrown into the trash. Oh, it was really good, too. And onion rings.
And it gave him diarrhea.
Well, pretty explosive stuff. Usually I get away with that stuff. I mean, I've done that stuff for years, guys. It saved me any number of amount of money, you know, when I've been traveling. It has. I'm a tight so-and-so. I've told you that before. Man, You have to accept, if you adopt that policy, you have to accept certain things that are, make life a little lively. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, it's tons of medical prevention walking around town digging in dumps.
Well, I do that. I don't do it during the meeting. I do that in the evening. Well, Morton Steakhouse. I mean, you go out there at 10:30. I mean, they've got a dumpster out there. They're half these guys don't eat half their meals. I mean, you've got, by heavens, you can just eat like a king. I don't know if they do that now or not, but I haven't been up. I haven't been up for a medical meeting up there since. Gosh, when was it? 2001. 2000. When was that? When was that annular eclipse? Was it 2000? Might have been 2000.
Yeah, it was back in 2000.
Was it 2001, 2003? The annular eclipse of the sun.
Yeah.
That's
because I had the red pickup truck, the one with the dual tanks.
Oh yeah, the 93 Ford, right?
Yeah.
Well, that was the stretch bed. That was the 8-foot bed with the crew cab. Yeah. Well, it wasn't a crew cab. It was the super cab. Yeah.
It just had a back seat in it and a bench seat. Half of it folded up.
That was a nice truck. Now that wasn't 4-wheel drive.
No. And it was a 6-cylinder.
No, it was good. I mean, it was as a truck goes, it was a very reasonable truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't have much trouble with the front end or brakes on that either, did you?
No, come to think of it, didn't. I bought it in Delaware too.
Well, I mean, but no, it was a Ford. But you did not have a lot of front end trouble or.
No, it was coming up just as I got rid of it.
How many miles you put on that? Oh, it had to be like 80-some or more than that.
Yeah.
You had easily almost just about 100,000 on that.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
When did you get rid of that?
2001.
So you had it for about 8 years.
Yeah.
8 years.
Because they traded it in on the gold one that I just got rid of.
Yeah, which was a disaster. But yours was not a that 93 thing. Well, that was an F-150. That wasn't
right.
That was not a like a Super Duty. No. See, these Ford Super Duty truck front ends seem to be just god awful and go to hell. But the standard, on the other hand, though, I've had some trouble with
brakes rotated a couple.
Yeah, you had a lot of brake trouble. Well, but see, you were doing a lot of stop and go stuff with that corporate housing, back and forth stuff.
And the clutch plate broke one day going to work.
Yeah, well, I mean, 6,000 miles, you generally have to have I had a clutch replaced in. One of these things. I didn't consider that unreasonable.
I was going to work one morning across 270, the freaking clutch slammed to the floor.
No, well, that's not good.
The sucker went out again. I'm like, what the fuck?
That reminds me of the time that I've mentioned that my dad had he had a 1950 Packard that he had actually bought new, and he had a 1952 Packard that he bought used that he acquired in 1957. And interestingly, let's see, it had to have been somewhere around 1968 that we went out one morning. Well, he went out one morning. Well, we all went out one morning because we're all going to, my parents are going to go to work, going to work to teach, and I'm going to go to school with them. And it seems that the transmission had fallen out.
Fell on the ground.
Yeah, fallen out of the 1952 Packard, and there it sat.
Right by the barn.
Yeah, I was in the back.
Barn,
It was in the barnyard.
Yeah, it was across from the.
It was in the barnyard, and
right.
and as the years went by, the trees grew up around this thing, and it just drove my mother nuts. Of course, my dad died in 1975, and she internally, well, not so much internally, but also externally rejoiced that then she could finally clear out all of the stuff. Well, now you see how I live. Here, let's lean aside, Paul. Give them another. See, now extend that out to a barnyard, and for that matter, an inside the house situation. And my dad's way of life really drove my mother
nuts.
Well, not so much nuts, because she was a mean so-and-so to start with. But it didn't augment her tendency to possibly be more pleasant. You know, you've seen, you've seen stacks of magazines, stacks of books around here. That's how. Well, we didn't have Marion books, but my dad took 8 or 9 periodicals, and he would have a stack of them against his chair there, and.
Well, these books you see back here in the back, they're too deep.
Yes, they're too deep. Yes, anything you see on my shelves are too deep. I mean, I've got books in backs of row books in the back of the books you see. And while, as I said, we didn't have very many books because we couldn't afford books. But my dad did subscribe to a number of periodicals, and his theory on this was if you get one idea out of each thing you get, one idea, one new thought out of each thing you get, then it's worth the subscription. And that's an idea I've sort of carried along with me, of course, because that was how I was raised. And so when my dad died,
his mom cleaned house and yard.
Well, yeah, she got her remaining living sister, Aunt Madeline, up there, and they basically cleared out pretty much any vestige of my dad from that house. I was very distressed at that. I would love to have had his hat. You know, he wore one of these gray felt fedora hats. No, that's gone. I think my nephew got it. I don't know. But I know I didn't get it. I didn't get a lot of stuff. That's okay. Stuff.
Or your favorite brother-in-law.
Yeah, that's just stuff. Just stuff. So, anyway, so after he died, of course, this 1952 Packard sitting out there with its transmission sitting on the ground. And somewhere along, I mean, there's no grapevine. There wasn't any sort of eBay or Craigslist or this or that at that time. And yet, you had all these people sniffing around about, we had the Packard there that was sitting out there, and we had...
you had both of them.
That had been, I think the 1951 had been hauled off long before. I think even my dad finally agreed to have that thing hauled off. Yeah, it was sitting over by the corn crib, and it was, I mean, it was over, I mean, it was like, you know, you had trees growing up through the middle of it. I mean, but the blue 1952 Packard was still very much restorable, and somebody came. I don't know what. I think the guy gave her $25 and said he'd haul it off, and she said that's fine. Well, I mean, real.
Transmission.
Well, no, I mean, no. Well, there was a big hole in the passenger side. You know, of course, I rode to school a lot of times with the wind blowing up into my crotch, you know, and 15-degree weather in this thing. So I mean, it needed to be worked on. This car needed some work.
It was getting kind of rusted on the bottom side.
But they also had a thing called a Graham. Now, my understanding that this Graham was a car. Now, I've not Googled this or done anything, so you all can Google it if you want. Because I may be talking through my behind on this one, but I'm only repeating what I was told. This Graham was a car that they had used, well, I guess owned, since it was still sitting out here on our property. To travel, see, after they got married in 1934.
They went across country, didn't they?
Yeah. They both graduated. My dad graduated from school in 1932. My mother, well, she only did 2 years of college, and she'd been teaching since 1930. And then my dad was teaching from 1932 on in Lebanon, and then they got married in 1934. And in that summer, they did a cross-country trip. You know, they drove out, sleeping outdoors, all the way over to Lake Tahoe, and then worked their way back. And they did it in this Graham. And I don't know what year model this Graham was, but it was sitting out there.
Was it a station wagon? What?
Oh no, it was a very big sedan type car.
Okay.
Yeah. The British would call it a saloon car. I love that terminology. A saloon car. It's a very big saloon car. Well, you could have had a saloon in it because I'll tell you, it was big enough to do it. Now,
I love that style of car because they used to have here in the United States.
Oh.
I forget what brand it was.
well, the Packards. I mean, that used to be the standard thing. You know,
it's giant,
the
giant ass big thing, and it looks like it has a
like a living room in the back.
A trunk, a packing trunk on the back, as you know.
Well,
that's the trunk.
Well, no, that's
kind of shaped
well, like that's a little. But you're talking about the big trunk things. But my grandmother had a 1949 Ford that had basically the same sort of configuration, but it was perhaps a little bit smaller. And she would have the woman that took care of her occasionally drive her out to our place in this 1949 Ford. You know, they'd take it out for an airing, you know, and it was wonderful. And, let's see, after she died, I don't know who got that after she died. I don't know who got that after she died. Gosh, it was a beautiful slate gray color, and you know, it had velvet seats. And, it was really nice, and no air conditioning. Like, you know, my Aunt Virginia had Lincolns in the 50s that had air conditioning, and it just gave me a hell of a headache. But I could ride in this 1949 Ford, and not get any headache at all.
We had I don't know how we got it or where we got it from. 32. A 1932 Chevy. It was the color of your wine. And it had silver wool seats in it. And it looked brand new.
Well, yes, oh no, actually, when I said felt, I mean, I was wrong. I mean, I should have said wool because these were wool seats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it looked
yeah,
it
yeah.
looked like it would be a felt or something.
Yeah, but it was
But
wool.
it was
but,
wool.
but it was wool. Yeah. Oh,
It was a crisp wool.
indestructible. I mean, indestructible. You know, short of somebody putting a blazing thing into it, indestructible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Dad was building the garage and the driveway on that hill. And
It wasn't a hill. It was a mound of dirt.
he had my brother running up and down the driveway. And
House on a hill. Give me a break. Sorry, go on.
dumbass hit, I don't know how,
Which
because
no,
he's
I'm not.
only supposed to go
I was
backwards.
going to say which number.
And
Well, that doesn't
Two.
narrow it down. Well, I mean, you know, neither. I'm sorry. I don't want to dig myself into this hole.
he's running up because they put in this bankroll gravel stuff, and Dad wanted it packed down flat.
Well, you got to pack that shit down. Yeah.
Well,
Even the county tries to do
he's
that.
running up and down this stupid slope and into the garage all the way to the back. I kept thinking, you know, this goofball's going to hit that back wall.
Now, which goofball?
The one I just called dumbass.
That would be your older
My
brother.
oldest brother.
Your oldest brother. Older and oldest brother.
Right. But no, somehow he hit a mailbox 6 feet off to the side of the driveway with the car.
E2 didn't screw up very often. Yeah, I mean, he really didn't. I mean, that's got to be one of the few times he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the other one that happened? Oh, he parked behind Dad.
Carry on.
And Dad got him up and told him he had to get out. He had to get up, get dressed, get outside, move his car, because Dad had to get to work.
Well, yeah.
He had to come home, and he parked behind Dad, where nobody's supposed to ever do that.
Yeah.
Well, he got in his car, starting it. Dad already had his going, and he just threw his in gear, took off backward, and slammed him right in the front end.
Who ran into who?
Dad drove into
the
other one.
That I believe. I do believe that.
It's funny that. Aren't you gonna let him move first?
Well, God bless your dad, but I certainly can see him doing that.
Yeah.
Well, hell, he threw his second wife basically off the scaffolding there up at the corner house
Yep.
in an attempt to save her.
Yeah, he kicked the scaffolding out from under him.
He thought a clean fall would be safer.
They were standing up on the thing, and the thing was popping down level to level to level. That they were standing on flat.
Now they were painting the garage, right?
He was up there checking the freaking aluminum siding. He thought it looked weird, so they climbed up on the scaffolding to look at it.
Both of them did?
Yeah.
What, he wanted a
I
second
don't know why they both got
He wanted a
it.
second opinion?
He wanted to fix it the way he thought it should look.
Well, yes. I mean, he was very meticulous, about that. He
But
had his own way of doing things.
Anyway, the flooring of the scaffold started popping down. Kind of like doing it in a jerking thing. Well, instead of just writing it out, no. He grabs hold of the roof of the garage and kicked the scaffolding out from under him. And she went down with it. And that's how she broke her leg in 17 places.
And she really, really messed up her leg. It was done out of love.
He felt he got a severely sprained wrist. That's what he got.
Well, he was hanging under the eave straw.
I know.
Or the edge of the roof or whatever. Yeah.
What the gutter would hook to.
Yeah.
He grabbed hold of that. He had his fingers gripped on the shingles.
He took her
when he kicked the shaft out from under her.
He took her by surprise. But it was done. It's an act of love. Well, it really was, actually. Now, see, there were, God bless Paul's dad. You know, I mean, he was very accepting of me. Well, he was sort of not quite that accepting of me. But, yeah, he basically was, more or less. But he had his own way of doing things. Well, we all do, don't we?
I mean, if he had something done for you, well, like the aluminum siding and shit, put on that garage. The aluminum siding and stuff was done for him.
Well, and he
and I did all the rest.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, I mean, I had aluminum siding on my house in Fort Wayne, and it kept blowing up. Actually, we had stuff blowing off out here, too. Yeah.
Outside the blue bedroom.
For all I know, it may be blown off. I haven't gone over that side of the house. I haven't gone over there for a while.
I haven't been out there, well.
Yeah. Well, since the dogs died.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't go out there and talk with them while they're doing their thing.
I miss our dogs.
Mowing weeds and shit down in the yard.
I miss our dogs. You know, the thing is, I would love to get another dog or two, but I know if I do that, I won't travel. I want to do some traveling. On the other hand, I read in the Daily Telegraph and the Daily Mail about the prices over there in the United Kingdom, and I don't know if I can afford to travel.
Go back.
I don't know if I can afford. I'm really, in all seriousness, I don't know if I can. I mean, you're paying $16, $17 a gallon for gas, and good Lord, and and a lot of the pubs have closed. I mean, it just sounds god awful over there in terms of expense.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about eating at restaurants or staying in expensive hotels. I'm just talking about being able to drive around the country.
Yeah, and see a bed and breakfast.
Well, yeah, that I don't think the bed and breakfast would be all that out of reach, but good Lord, the train. I mean, there was a thing about people. There's like a train ticket from Manchester to London, a return train ticket. It's like £500. Now it was at any time. It was like you could walk on at any time and do it. It was, it wasn't like for a discount time, but that's like.
Well, how far out did some of the subs run?
I'm sorry. Honey?
How far out did some of the subways run?
Well, the subways are expensive enough. Although I could probably, but I don't want to go to London anymore. I mean, I've seen London as far as all I want to see London. But you read, and of course, to drive into central London now, it's a 10 or 20 pound charge. I guess you're trying to raise it. This guy's trying to raise it to 20, but because of this carbon dioxide horse shit. Oh yeah.
Clean barrel.
Well, the Earth may be warming. Maybe going through one of these climate warming things, but it doesn't have a damn thing to do with carbon dioxide, guys. I'm telling you that right now. Or the methane from the cows farting, or the methane from the uncapped gas wells, belching out. It's just the way things go. Things get warm, things get cold, things get warm, things get cold. Polar bears crawl around on ice floes. Polar bears drown. Polar bears learn to live on land. Polar bears, don't drown. I mean, it's like, it's the way the world works, guys. It's the way the world works.
Yeah. They even raid towns in Alaska once in a while to get food out of the trash, like wild pack dogs.
What, the people or the bears?
The polar bear.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Got food in the trash bin. You're gonna eat it.
Well, a lot of people don't have.
Sort of like me when I'm going down there outside Morton's. I'm sorry.
They build a porch on the place. Don't put spike nails through the wood and then put it upside down with the points of the nails coming up out of the wood.
That's not right.
To keep the bear from coming up on the porch trying to get in the front doors and out.
I don't know if I'd want to do that. No, that's a hair unfair, I think.
Yeah.
Well, no, I understand the desire, but come on,
It's especially the people that live out, like in the country.
Well,
they'll do that.
No, I understand. I'm just saying it's don't cripple if you're gonna kill an animal. Don't cripple an animal. Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be more pissed off if he's got a prick in his foot because he stepped on your step or something.
Well, yeah. It's not like he's got a prick in something else. Well, and of course that's not the animal we're talking about, is
it? Anyway,
I can't get him. I can't get him to rise to the occasion sometimes.
it'd be mean having these spikes sticking up all over.
We haven't moved on from that. Okay.
I ain't thinking. It would.
Well, you don't want to poke an animal in the foot. I mean, you don't want to cripple some animal. I mean, that's like.
I know.
That's like a mild sentence from ISIS or something. Yeah. We'll only fuck you. We'll only beat you on the foot for a while, rather than kill you or saw your head off with a short.
Hey, what are they going to do? Run over to the vet and knock on the door and ask for a tetanus shot? I just stepped on the nail. See, here's the proof. Well, you never know.
Well, I'm
polar bears aren't that stupid.
No, they're not. Not at all. We're getting out of shot here.
Polar bears. I have no damn idea.
Well, we fly around all over the place here, don't we? Sometimes. So, anything else? Let's see. Now you're off tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, so I gotta get on the laundry done,
Oh,
so I'll
oh,
be ready for the
oh,
whole next week.
Speaking of that, and I'm glad
And
we're
no,
on,
I haven't even seen the
and, and,
chart yet.
and I'm glad we're on camera for this. When I went down to do laundry yesterday, did I tell you? Did I mention this to you?
Yeah, that I forgot to turn the water
Oh,
off. And thank God the freaking hoses didn't burst.
yes.
Because we have a hell of a water pressure.
Yeah,
up here.
140 pounds plus per square inch. Well, no. So I did mention that to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I won't spring that on you on camera because I can't spring it on you on camera because you already know.
Right.
Anyway, one of the things we do when Paul goes down to do laundry is when he comes up and I say, "Now you sure you turn the water off and turn the water off and turn the water off." And he says, "Yes." He says, "Yes." And generally, the day afterwards, I'll go down after he goes to work and I'll check it just to be sure. But you know, the last two times I didn't. Now I did ask. No, the time before the last time you did laundry, you volunteered you had turned the
Yeah.
water
Because
off.
I usually always turn it off even
But-
before I open the damn washing machine.
Yeah,
lid.
well,
Take
but
clothes.
the time, let's go to like two times. The last two times Paul did laundry, he volunteered that he had turned the water off. I didn't have to ask. The last time he had done laundry, I didn't ask and he didn't volunteer. And when I went down yesterday to do laundry,
The day before.
no, it was yesterday, I discovered that the water had been on. So it's been on at least since the last time. But you haven't been doing it very often.
Monday.
So it's anyway. So it's something I've got to keep in mind. Well, how's honey? I mean, if that if that bastard would break, I mean, it'd just be a disaster down there.
I know, because it has before.
Well, and fortunately, it broke just as I was there, and we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
That's just back
And
to
that's
God.
when we kept turning the water off. We started turning the water off every time we touched the machine.
I will say that there wasn't anything leaking from the hoses.
Right, you said that too.
Yeah, there wasn't anything. If it seems like I'm belaboring this point, guys, all you have to do is have this happen to you once.
Yeah, while you're standing there in the freaking hose.
Well, even worse,
All over it.
even worse if you're not standing.
You got to get that out of the oven and shut it off.
What?
I don't have anything else.
I think he's just the neatest guy in the world. So I'm going to say bye-bye, YouTube.
I mean, we're almost on 40 minutes.
That's okay. I think it's fun to show the world the neatest guy in the world. All right.
Oh, we closed the dining room formally. I mean, it's closed. So, took all of the tables and chairs we could and put them into the meeting room. So it's going to be used as the food service area and plus dining room. So, I had to wash all those tables and chairs down today also. Well, I always vacuum the thing because the cook is supposed to do. She didn't do it. She lets it ride. I don't care how bad the floor looks. She won't. She won't clean the dining room floor. She won't run the vacuum cleaner over there. She didn't even do it when it was straight out the kitchen door. So,
Okay, so should we say bye-bye, YouTube?
yeah, that's it.
Okay, bye-bye, YouTube.